Tim with Ace Appliance in Toledo, Ohio, and welcome back to another in-home diagnostic video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com. Alright, so right now we're on a Frigidaire refrigerator that's not cooling, and we have our amp clamp around our inputs to the compressor, and we're looking at our meter. We should see it go up to around 10-11 amps and then come back down to a running current of around 1 or 2. So we're gonna plug her in. Yeah, that definitely made a weird sound. So the tools you'll need for this diagnosis are a 1/4-inch nut driver, a flashlight, a digital multimeter or volt ohm meter, and an amp clamp. Alright, so we're just checking power here and making sure which one is the line and which one is the neutral. So we know that the red one is line, our power coming in, and we do have 120 volts coming to the compressor. So we're going to unplug it, hook up our starting components, and put our amp clamp around it and check for the correct current draw. So on our starting components, there's a indication for a line and a neutral, and the L will be line, and that's the red wire, and the N is the blue wire. So we will get these into place. No way to hook that part up wrong. And the line is on the bottom, so we'll get our red wire going to the bottom. It's kind of a tight squeeze in here. That guy all hooked in there, and we'll put the blue one in neutral. Now we will put on our amp clamp around the red wire, or the line voltage coming in. Get our meter all set up. And we should see this thing jump up and then come right back down to a resting current if everything is good. So you saw it jump up to 10, which is it just starting, and then go back down to a resting current. So we're gonna keep this on and monitor it while it runs for a while and check for any abnormalities. Okay, we're going to remove the back panel to inspect the evaporator. So we'll just remove these 1/4-inch screws. Now you could do this 2 ways. You can remove these panels to just slide this out. Another way is to lift it up and just kind of slide it out the bottom. So we've just started our compressor, and we can see the coil starting to frost up. So we know our compressor is running and that the refrigerant is circulating. However, I do not hear the evaporator fan running, so we're going to take off part of the top panel as well and check that out. Okay, so we see our coils frosting up, and from underneath can visually see that the evaporator fan isn't working. So we're just going to try and get a little better view of it. And for this, we will remove the side panels that hold the shelving on. Alright, so right now we can see that our fan isn't actually turning. We're gonna check for power and see if we're getting the right power to it to determine if we need a fan or what's going on. So we're at an evaporator fan motor that's not running, and we're gonna remove the connector to it and get our meter on a 120 volts or on AC voltage and check to see if we're getting the correct power to the fan. So with our leads firmly in place, we are getting 120 volts to the fan, but it is not running. So at this point we assume that we have a bad fan motor. On this fridge, it can be a little deceiving. So what we're going to do is hook up 120 volts directly to the fan to thoroughly check it and make sure we don't need a control or a fan. Alright, so we have a tester fan motor here, and what we're going to do is hook it up to the voltage that is coming from the fridge and see if this starts spinning. And we can see that the power supplied by the fridge is actually running a fan, so we definitely have a bad evaporator fan motor. Alright, so one other check that you can do is to hook up a test cord straight to the fan and apply 120 volts directly to the fan. And with 120 to it, we have no movement whatsoever. We know that we have a bad evaporator fan motor. Okay, so we know we have a bad evaporator fan motor, and we're going to come back and replace it. In the meantime, we're going to button it back up for right now, and we'll just slide the evaporator cover back into place and re-secure the screws on it. Okay, so now we're going to put our rails back on. And secure those. And the other side. And we'll secure those back in. And when we come back, we'll button it all up right and replace that motor and be all set. Thank you for watching another in-home diagnostic video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com.